Yeah.
Are we recording already?
What's up? Pulling the Thread Podcast, episode 66. What's going on?
I mean,
You know,
outside of the fact that everybody in the world has lost their fucking minds.
How so?
Well, because first off, the
I'm
distraction.
very clear of mine.
First off, this whole distraction of red heifers and the Temple Mount and what else? What was the other? There's another great conspiracy going on out there.
The eclipse.
Oh, and the eclipse. Yeah, everybody's lost their mind. They've really lost their mind. You are being manipulated. You're being manipulated with propaganda to distract you from the fact that your current government is fucking imploding. That is the real thing that everybody should be paying attention to. But instead, we're watching videos about red heifers.
Is the government imploding good for us, or is that a bad thing for us?
It just depends on
What's your take?
It just depends on what comes out on the other side. The problem is, usually when governments implode, what comes out on the other side is not better. It's usually worse.
Like General Barbecue. So
there'll be a period of time.
So you're prophesizing cannibalism.
There'll be a period of time where general barbarism or old general cannibal will be a kind of thing in the United States. There'll be a general time if we completely implode.
But only in St. Louis, Chicago, and Los Angeles.
Yes, only in the places where you would expect it to be. Like there's already, when you think of those cities, really, there's already a general barbecue there.
Yeah,
like he's already there.
Yeah, he just hasn't fucking taken power yet.
He's already there. He's already there, and
there's a bunch of video of General Barbecue actually out there, and he's like their boy. Like he was all good. Like he was a humanitarian for a while and shit. It's almost like Trudeau. Like a couple years ago, he was playing the piano with his dick. Now he's the president, right? They just installed him. Like, here, I need you to eat a little bit of this. We'll just tell him it's somebody's shin bone.
Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't get Trudeau. I don't get Canada. I don't know why they put up with that guy, because he's already going after speech now.
Oh no, they're locking them down.
Yeah, they're going to put people in jail for speech.
Same in England, UK type shit. They called the police on the chick that wrote Harry Potter, and she's like lesbian, and she's like, listen, this is bullshit. The whole trans shit's bullshit. Somebody called the police. Police went out apparently and rousted her up. You can get life in prison for fucking words.
For hate speech, yeah.
For hate speech. Come in here. Come into a city near you.
Maybe.
Not this city, but I mean,
yeah.
you'll see it. New York seems fucking completely on fire.
Yeah, they're gonna. I crazy prediction. My crazy prediction is New York is going to slowly start turning red.
Maybe. I mean,
I think New York's going to start slowly turning red. Did you see the uproar about Chicago?
Tell me.
And the Democratic convention?
Tell me.
The Democrats that they count on for their votes in New York are like, you ain't having it here. It's not going to happen here because you don't give a shit about us. You only care about your illegal immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
So
that shit's backfiring a little bit.
Yeah, it's backfiring. I think it's backfiring.
The whole illegal immigrants thing, right? Working people don't want the illegal immigrants here. The homeless people from here don't want the illegal immigrants here. There's all these man on the street interviews with transients, bums, whatever, homeless, actual like long-time homeless people, and they're like, yeah, we're not allowed to go in there. We can't fucking piss on the ground. We can't go stay in the police station. They're not handing us food. They're not giving us debit cards. That's only those people. So you have people on the street embedded who don't like them, and then you have people who have to deal with them that don't like them. The only people that like them are the politicians.
I would assume that none of the politicians like him either.
So why are they tolerating it? What do you think it's about?
Well, the reality is the Democratic Party wants to collapse the system.
Yeah, well, they're about to get 13 extra seats off of this.
They don't care about that. They want to collapse the system. They want to collapse the social systems, because when they collapse the social systems, you're going to have a bunch of people, like they're doing right now in New York and other major cities. You're going to have a bunch of people that are going to be calling for more social systems. More. Why is it that even when you think about it, they're not giving homeless this stuff, they're not giving us this stuff. So what the Democrats want is the system to collapse in order so they can create a kingdom of social systems. They just want more social systems. They don't give a shit about the fucking illegal immigrants. They don't give a shit about, the reality is, they don't give a shit about Democrats. What they want is to collapse the current system in order to create a bigger system that requires you to be beholden to them more, because that's all.
Well, they want to seize more power too.
Yeah, well,
Anytime during crisis, right, or chaos,
creating a bigger system gives
all
them
government,
power.
yeah, all government, even in a small town, right? If we had some catastrophic thing happen and they declared martial law, the local government would take over whatever they want, right? They're going to take the best houses for themselves. They're going to take the best food for themselves, and they're going to use the law enforcement to enforce their will upon people who perhaps in the past voted
Right.
against them or whatever. The outspoken person at town hall that was a problem, they're going to put that motherfucker in jail or fucking exterminate him.
Maybe
That happens. It happens in every, big catastrophic event. Any natural disasters, anything. You always see that happen. Government never exists without growing government.
True.
If government is given power, they will figure out a way to create another law or another power to it.
Hence the reason why they're doing everything they can to collapse these social systems,
Mm-hmm.
because they want more power. They want to be able to have people beholden to them. But I think, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a witch, or I think that they have overplayed their hand and it's going to backfire on them. I don't believe that the control that they think they're going to get because they've allowed 11 million immigrants to illegally come in this country for votes or whatever, or seats, or I don't think they're going to get it. I think what's going to happen is people are going to be like, fuck, this has to stop. And the only people who are talking about stopping it are Republicans. Now, again, Republicans,
the voting Democrat doesn't seem like they're voting for.
That's
Democrats
what I'm saying.
Right now.
Don't get me wrong. Republicans are just as dirty.
Yeah, I don't think they need them though. They're just going to fabricate them.
They're just as dirty when it comes to what is going on in this country. But,
do you know how the Electoral College works?
Yeah.
So, am I correct? I really don't know how it works. Like, I've never had any interest in it really, but so with bringing all these illegals in, who they have now registered as Democrat, it sways the Electoral College, right? So, it's my understanding that it doesn't have to be an actual vote, but a vote in these towns count as 3 or 4 votes when one person casts a vote.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think a lot of people don't realize that. I didn't know that until I just heard it the other day, and I'm like, holy shit, I didn't know that.
But again, I don't think that even if they registered them as Democrats, I don't think they realize that those people don't give a shit about that.
Correct, but I think that's what a lot of them issuing the phones has to do with. I think they have a phone that is going to notify them, and they're going to be able to vote off of the phone in some manner, or report to your area. We have your check while you're here. Hey, vote. We're going to reload your debit card.
Maybe
You have to show up to vote, and as you show up to vote, we will reload your debit card. Something to that manner. It's not their money. It's not real money.
I know that's gerrymandering, and I don't know if.
But they've done it. Like, you've already had gerrymandering. There's
I don't know if. I don't believe that. Again, even 11 million votes is not really going to.
Do you believe?
Sway what's going to happen in this country?
Do you believe that there's tyranny has happened to the point where people should be hung and executed for it?
In this country?
Yes. Politicians.
I mean, I don't know about a public execution anymore. I do believe that Milley should have been stripped of all his power and lost his retirement, and maybe even served some jail time for consorting with the enemy.
Do you think that crimes have been committed by politicians currently?
Oh yeah,
that 100 years ago would have been.
Yeah, they would have been tarred and feathered 100 years ago.
Which is a death sentence.
Sometimes.
Is it not?
No, it's not always.
Is it not hot tar?
Yeah, hot tar, but it's not really a death sentence.
But didn't people typically die from that?
I don't know. I've never been hot tarred.
We should probably sink them in the ocean or put them underwater and see if they rise, so we know if they're witches.
Or execute the laws in place that covers this type of behavior, and lock them the fuck up.
Why do you think they want to? Why do you think they're so rabid about taking away guns?
Why? Because you can't move to the next step without taking away guns. It's no different than what Trudeau did.
That's right.
He had to get rid of guns so he could go after speech. Because
anytime they want to take away guns, you better ask what they're about to do to us that they are worried about you being armed for.
I mean, me personally, I mean, God, I'm old, so I'm not even worried about, like, if the government came out tomorrow and said all guns are illegal. I don't see that. I don't see that going anywhere. It's not going to be like Australia, where a bunch of people are going to throw their guns in a pile. I mean, you're going to have people that will give up their guns, but there are more guns in this country than there are people. So the guns are not going to ever fucking go away, and it's going to be very hard for a government to enforce that type of idea nationwide. Would it be hard in New York City? No, because they would just start turning people off.
Well, I think that's a lot of the crazy shit with the January 6th is to set an example.
But it didn't. January 6th was a fucking hoax. It didn't.
We all know. Yes, we agree that it was a hoax. But they set enough example where there are fucking old women in jail still over this that people are going to not show up the next time.
Nope.
You don't think so?
No. The reason why I say no is because the issue, where the Democratic Party again fucked up with January 6th is, instead of realizing exactly what happened and was like, okay, let's focus our effort on, they could have focused their effort on like 5 people, made an example of them, done with it. They didn't do that. They've drawn it out. So what they have really done is in the community of people who showed up for January 6th, is they've just created martyrs. The people that showed up, the people that were there, are not now going, oh my God, I should never do that again. Well, those people that were there are now going, next time, let's bring fucking guns.
I think that the reason they killed Randy Weaver, his family, the way they did was to set an example. I think the reason they burned down Branch Davidians in the manner that they did was to set an example.
Not to set an example. You have to understand that this is what most people don't understand. Is government is fucking inept. And they really don't know what the fuck they're doing. Randy Weaver's family and son, his wife and his son, unfortunately were killed because of law enforcement officers who had no fucking clue what they were doing. Not because it was some grand conspiracy to kill his family. It would have been much easier for everyone if they had just killed Randy Weaver. But all they did was made Ruby Ridge a calling card. They just made them martyrs because of inept government response, utilizing people who really didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Those marshals should have never shot at Randy Weaver's son. They were not in danger.
Do you think that's the last time you'll see that kind of stuff happen?
No, because government is inept. It's even
stuff?
worse. It's even worse now.
Correct. That's where do you think that it is currently happening?
Yeah, it happens. It does happen. I'm sure that the dude that was in the wheelchair that was killed in Philadelphia wasn't a threat. I mean, that's the same thing.
Or Utah.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Branch Davidians. That wasn't anything other than an agency who was tired of sitting around, who had lost control of the narrative, and decided that they were going to fucking do whatever they could to get those people out of there. Nothing that they did was necessary. Like, if you really look at what happened there, the FBI, the actual dudes who were talking to David Koresh, they believed that they could have ended that thing. But the HRT guys were like, no, we want to drive tanks, and we want to shoot our guns, and we want to be cool guys. And that's how all those people got killed. That's how that place got burnt to the ground, because they wanted to be cool guys. It's inept government operations. There's no fucking reason. There is no real reason for law enforcement, especially in a situation like that where they control everything, to do any of it. You don't need fucking tanks to take out the Branch Davidians. Eventually they're going to run out of food.
Do you think you're going to see more killdozer situations?
Maybe. I mean, maybe.
Do you think there's people prepping for that right now?
I think people are prepping for it in a manner that is just what would you call it? Like copycat, right? It's cool. It's cool to have a dozer with a bunch of armor plate on it. So I think yes, I do believe that people are probably thinking in those lines. But again, I know I say this all the time. Most people are fucking comfortable.
How come you don't see people hitting long range stuff? Like, obviously, there's dudes with rifles that are fully capable of taking shots from very far distances. How come you're not seeing that happen?
For what purpose?
Just anybody they feel has wronged them.
Because again, comfortable. If you're, it's not, you know, the days of the fucking lone wolf in his basement. I mean, not that they're not there. Again, when you think about somebody who's doing long range shooting, F class or whatever, those guys are comfortable. That's an expensive fucking sport.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
so to just think that they're going to go around and be like, I'm going to shoot somebody from a mile.
Yeah, I'm not talking dudes with $10,000 rifles and shit. I'm talking the old veteran, the grumpy dude who's been diagnosed with cancer or whatever. And he's like, I'm going out anyways. I'm gonna take a couple of these guys who've wronged or changed the course of the direction.
I mean, sure, there's 330 million plus people in this country. I'm sure that kind of stuff happens.
And they just keep a lid on it.
Well, yeah, it's not really. I mean, again, the only gunplay that gets put on the national scene is gunplay that fits the agenda. So, you know, I'm sure that happens all the time. I don't want to say all the time, but people are, again, I'm going to go to this. We're very comfortable, and people are generally good.
Do you see all the talk of the purge going on?
No.
So there's towns that have just come out and said, Pennsylvania, a weird place, right? You think of Pennsylvania, you think Amish and shit. But several law enforcement agencies in Pennsylvania have said, hey, we're not responding to any calls. Don't bother to call us unless you're actively being murdered or there's somebody in your house. We're not responding. And they basically said, hey, we're down to 20 officers in this town or whatever. So you have a lot of housing developments, I guess, that have taken it upon themselves to set up their own security and stuff. You have a major sheriff in Florida said, hey, everybody should be armed. You should have a plan to defend yourself. You should buy guns. And it just kind of seems to be ramping up. Maybe it's just amplification because that's the kind of stuff that, you know, is targeted towards us on social media because of, you know, business and stuff. But there does seem to be a fracturing.
Well, it's because the Obama administration specifically attacked law enforcement, and because the Obama administration made open season on law enforcement, a lot of places, and a lot of liberals, again, Democrats. I don't know why Democrats are so stupid. Wanted to defund the police and get rid of the police, and we're just going to have like social services officers go out and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry that guy killed your brother." It's just stupid, and so we're feeling the wave of that, right? So when you say they only have 20 officers, it's because why would you want to be a police officer right now? Why would you want to be a police officer? Of course you don't want to be a police officer, and so you have this wave going on, and people are going to people will fill the gap, right? We will fill the gap. It's no different than in the damn 70s when the...
Right, but what are they filling the gap with?
What do you mean? Just dudes. Just
Got you.
Yeah,
I thought you meant law enforcement agencies.
no, just dudes. Just
So
people
I
who
think
want to go out and put their red berets on and patrol the subways.
I think I mean, and they had a huge problem with that, right? The Guardian Angels, even in San Diego, in Balboa Park, they had Guardian Angels. And every time one of them would prevent a crime, they would try to make an example of that dude.
Right.
But you have, I think that was a big part of the 2019, 2020 and the thing, right? Who was most apt not to take the requirement vaccination? Also probably the same person that was apt to uphold the Constitution or uphold and take the oath that he took seriously, right? So a lot of those older dudes that set an example, you know, the man, Bob's been on the force for 30 years, he's the man's man, right? They push those dudes out. Who fills that void? The younger up and comers who are more apt to be the yes men fill those voids. And you have
Kind of.
almost like beta, right? Beta dudes are very fucking dangerous
Well, kind of. It's
because they cannot bring, they can't control that violence, right? They didn't grow up in fistfights, so it automatically goes from 0 to 100 in any kind of instance.
kind of.
Okay.
Yes, you have a COVID created a general purging of wherever, right? Not necessarily just law enforcement. The military had a problem with it. Kind of, but the issue is liberals believe that you can take that person out and then take one of their people and put it in that spot. Now, that works. That works when you have a bunch of other alphas out there that are keeping everything under control. But when you pull them all out, you're helpless. You're fucking helpless. That person is not going to fucking make it. And so, again, that's why the military has reverse course and is like, hey, if you didn't take the COVID shot, you can rejoin the military. Sorry about that. And everybody else is doing the same thing because, again, to think that you're going to have this utopia liberal society where everybody's hugs and kisses and flowers grow on every street corner, it's a myth. It is a fucking myth. You will get eaten alive. Your utopia city that fucking Bezos is going to get built will get fucking eaten alive. You have to have men guarding those doors. And, there's some women out there that are really good at it too. You got to have people who are willing to fucking step up and be, fulfill those honor, courage, and commitment. They don't have that. That's the problem with the Democratic Party. They don't have that. They have no honor, no courage, no commitment. They are just fucking trying to destroy the system. It doesn't work. It works. You can destroy the system. You can destroy the system. But who do you think is going to get eaten? Who? I guarantee you that the old fucking General Cannibal is not eating the fucking alpha males. He's eating all the fucking weakness in that country. Same thing will happen here.
How long till the CIA removes that dude? Or did they in fact put him in, you think?
No, we don't care about it. Sorry, Haiti. Haitians come here and they're very hardworking individuals, but we don't really care. We don't care. We've allowed that country. We've allowed NGOs, the Hillary Clintons, to go down there and pretend like they're doing stuff and never do anything. We don't care about that country. Because Haiti it's a suburb. It's really a fucking suburb. In 20 minutes, we could fix all that. The United States could go down there and fix all that in 20 minutes. But we don't want to. It maybe part of the plan to just destabilize that whole island so, fucking Bezos can move in and grow pineapples or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Well, if Bezos wanted it, they would just burn it down.
Did you see that? Speaking of burn it down, did you literally see the Joe Biden clip?
Yeah.
Where he's talking about they had the proper roofs?
Yeah, I was curious whether he said that or if that was AI.
That might have been it. That's the issue is
you can't tell anymore.
You can't tell anymore whether it's AI or not. So, I don't know.
You think the pendulum's swinging back?
It always does. It always does. It's just the question is, does it swing back?
Right. Which side's it like? Okay.
No,
so it's gone completely left. Now it's swinging back.
Does it swing back center?
No.
Or does it
swing back center? So is it going to come back? Which side's the genocide going to be on? Right? Are we gonna round those guys up? Like, is Fauci going to pay the price?
No, Fauci won't pay the price.
Did you hear?
Again, it's never. Sorry, it's never Republicans. Republicans are, for the most part, leave me alone.
Well, I think Republicans are Democrats, especially your political Republicans for the most part.
I'm just saying. When's the last time you saw a fucking city get burned down by Republicans?
Correct. Or a Republican city, for that matter.
So it's never them until until you want to start a war in fucking Saudi Arabia. Then it's the Republicans who are over there fighting that, or until you want to fucking start a war somewhere, it's red-blooded Americans who are doing that. The blues never doing that shit.
You see all the Trump stuff going on?
I mean, what? There's always Trump stuff going on.
Well, which parts have you seen?
That prosecutor got her ass whooped.
Fannie Mae or whatever?
Yeah, she's got to fire her boyfriend.
It's looking like she actually might go to jail over some of the shit.
That's because, again.
So what about
that's
the seizure of the buildings? Right, he had to pay.
That's the issue.
He had to pay $250 billion or whatever it is, and couldn't get the money. He's like, look, we can come up with $100 million or whatever on the 250. So they're saying there's some talk that they're going to seize the buildings or whatever. He was not able to make the bond, and people are saying, well, that's not even a real bond. Like, it's not even a doable thing. There is no precedence for this, and constantly having to fight. And it's
that's the key. The key is to keep
dwindling his funds.
Keep him occupied with this stupid shit.
So he's still ranking way beyond anybody else.
Yes, yeah.
More than anybody ever has, apparently, from all the polls, from both sides of the polls.
Yeah.
But he's not campaigning. He's not putting. There's no money going out.
He doesn't. That's the beautiful thing about. Again, I've said this before. That's the beautiful thing about the Democratic Party. Donald Trump does not need to campaign because those idiots are campaigning for him. Every single time we're going to convict him for this, or we're going to go after. Every time they try and force him into court, they're campaigning for him. They're only making him stronger. That is all they're doing. They are only making them stronger. Evil gets evil. They're only making Donald Trump stronger. He don't need to fucking campaign. And I mean,
what's our countdown right now? When do they vote? When will you know
November?
who the president is?
In November. That's when we have our election.
Right. So what happens between now and then?
More and more smearing, and it's just going to get. This is probably going to be the worst presidential election as far as ads and smearing on individual. It's going to be a fucking, as Donald Trump said, it's going to be a political bloodbath.
So there were some sentences on the front end and the back end of that. Obviously,
yeah.
I saw them. He was talking about the auto industry, and specifically, China is ramping up all these vehicles, and they're going to bring them in, and you're not going to sell them. If you're bringing them into the United States, we're going to put 100% tax on these vehicles, and if it doesn't go that way, it's going to be a bloodbath. And he didn't say, as they're trying to spin it, that if I lose, it's going to be a bloodbath because civil war. It wasn't that.
No, of course not. It never is. No. That's why they have to have weak ass Washington Post and NPR write stories about it not even being real, because you have a bunch of, again, liberal Democrats that are in their basement and they just read that shit and go, "Oh man, that's got to be true."
So you think it's still Trump Biden?
No, I don't believe Biden makes it to the election.
Who do you think it is currently?
I think it's going to be. Well, I'm not sure. I feel like a Gavin Michelle ticket is possible, but I also feel like that unless he dies,
who?
Biden.
I think he's already died.
I feel like if you're Gavin, like if I'm Gavin Newsom, I would rather, and again, I don't know, because Gavin Newsom is a sociopath, right? He's a true sociopath. I feel like if I was the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, he's young, he's got money, he's got power right now, I would let this play out. I would be like, yeah, talk to me after the next 4 years, because this is going to be a fucking soup sandwich. So unless the powers that be, the CIA and the fucking DOJ, are going to give you the wink wink and be like, hey, you're going to win, right? Because we're fixing it. The fix is in. I think for Gavin, it would be better to go after the next election, because again, if let's say Trump gets elected, there's this miracle that happens, and there's a transition of power, and we have 4 more years of Trump, and everything is okay except for all the liberals lose their fucking minds. It would be better for Gavin to go after the next election because Trump can't run again. And so the Republican Party is going to have to put somebody forward like fucking
Trump can't run
Haley.
again because he's already done his terms.
Yeah, he's already done his 2 terms. So they're going to have to put Haley again. They're going to have to put people forward that Gavin Newsom already kind of knows and is in the same kind of world and probably could beat. Right? He could probably beat Haley. He could probably beat. So my opinion is it would be better for him to wait. But who knows what the Democratic Party's going to do? They've lost their goddamn minds. They're fucking insane.
Who do you think Trump's going to name as a VP?
I don't know. I mean, again, Trump always picks people that are fucking like just random. So it's probably going to be like
Somebody said something nice to him. You want to be the vice president?
some dude from, it's going to be like a plumber from Iowa.
Did you see?
It's gonna be Brandel. He's just gonna call Brandel one day and be like, "Hey, you know what'd be cool? If you're my VP."
Did you see Elon Musk launched a rocket a week or so ago? Do you know anything about this?
Well, I saw his rocket re-enter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was that one, but the significant, and nobody's really reporting on this. The significance is the thing's the size of the fucking skyscraper.
Yeah.
It's like an enormous rocket.
Yeah,
it's not like this bullshit they've been launching.
It's the one that it's the one that he wants to go to Mars in.
Yeah, it'll take 1,000 people at a time or something.
But Elon, hey, Goggins is already there, so you're not going to be the first.
That's the moon.
Goggins is already there,
That's
so
on the moon. But they have to go to the moon to launch from the moon to Mars.
in theory, yeah, in theory.
I mean, it'd be nice if they ever got to the moon once.
Elon is the problem with that type of operation is it'll be the first time we're taking resources from the planet, major resources. I mean, they'll be taking major resources from the planet that we won't ever be able to get back.
But the theory is that we can mine and create and build a lot of that stuff on the moon.
Theory. It's a sweet theory, but since the moon is made out of cheese, I don't know what kind of stuff they're going to be making except Gouda.
Well, I mean, they'll just take the technology from Antarctica.
Maybe.
They could probably just Stargate to the moon.
I think if they could Stargate, I think if the Stargate was legit, Elon would have it.
Did have the time turner.
I think he would have it. I think Elon would. I think he wouldn't be wasting all his money on rockets, because he's always trying to find something.
So you up on the? They passed this bill to require the sale of.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's theft, really, is what it is.
Okay, give me your opinion on it. Expand.
Well, it's theft. They're trying to
We're
force.
talking about TikTok.
They're trying to force a company to sell
Chinese company.
a Chinese company to sell their company to an American company.
What do you think it's really about?
Oh, it's about control.
Absolutely.
It's about control. It's because it's about the reality is they don't give two shits. It's not, again,
Right,
guys.
Because they don't have control over this.
Guys, the Communist Party is not learning anything from TikTok. They're not learning. They're not learning how to make a better apple pie. They're not learning anything from TikTok. But
They want to be able to.
they cannot socially influence because the other social media influencers, or not social media influencers, the other Silicon Valley companies have already caved in to the federal government, and their board of directors have already been like, we'll do whatever the fuck you tell us to do. We'll shut it down. We'll turn it on. We'll tell everybody that Joe Biden is going to live to be 1,000. We'll do whatever you want, because all those liberal fucking social media outlets are sucking the government's dick hard, and TikTok is not. That is the real problem. The real problem is when our federal government wants to influence or shut down, TikTok is a problem, because again, hey guys, when all your social media outlets were shut down, TikTok was still running. So that's the issue. The issue is they want a board of directors that's within the United States, so the CIA can go, hey man, let's get in there and play around a little bit. Let's try and influence Americans to do whatever we want them to do. It's bullshit. Fuck
See,
them.
Rumble
I
came
think-
out and said we'll buy them.
I think the reality is, and I'm all for this, let's pass a law that says it's illegal for any federal entity to communicate or use propaganda on social media websites.
Well, you saw Obama repealed that bill, said it was
Yeah.
illegal to use propaganda against U.S. citizens.
Because that's the point. The point is they want to manipulate the algorithms so they can get the outcome that they think they're going to get.
So I've not read the bill, but a lot of people say that the bill doesn't even name TikTok specifically. And what it really is it's a Patriot Act 3.0
Yes,
for the internet.
because the president this is the thing. Dictator, guys. That's what they're trying to establish, a dictatorship. Because the president of the United States is the one who gets to decide whether that company is influencing America in a bad way. And if there's more than 1 million people on the site, they automatically are able to get into it. Fuck them. This is, guys, we're going down a slippery slope. Even you guys need to start fucking really thinking about what you're saying out there. And it's just terrible. It's a terrible bill, and any Democrat that's for it or any Republican that is for it, you're fucking an evil individual. You are anti-America, anti-Constitution.
So apparently it's passed.
Yeah, well, no, it passed. It passed the House. It still has to go through the Senate and it has to pass the Senate, and then old boy has to sign it. I don't believe it's going to pass the Senate. I believe that there's enough Americans in the Senate that they're going to be like, fuck this. This is dumb. Because, again, everybody knows that the first domino that is going to fall in that bill is TikTok. Now, all the other turd burglars, Facebook, Instagram, all those other turd burglars have already fallen. You don't realize that they've already given the fucking government all the keys and all the power. If they want to shut somebody down because they're talking about COVID, or they want to shut somebody down because they're not talking about the president in the proper, they'll do it. They've already given the keys to the castle away. But it's any future, like, even the reality is, even Rumble could be taken out specifically for hate speech, because the president of the United States, all he has to do is go point the finger at Rumble, and then Rumble is done.
Yeah, just like Gab. Just like any of the others that fucking disappeared during the COVID stuff. A lot of stuff.
So it's a horseshit bill, and if it passes, we are so swirling the toilet. We're just swirling the toilet. It won't be long until everybody's eating cricket loaf.
I think people are eating cricket loaf. They just don't fucking realize it.
If you've ever,
they're still making it look like Oreos.
If you've ever had a Wonder Whopper, you've eaten cricket loaf.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the ingredients right now in foods, iconic foods, right? Like, I always use like Oreo or Ritz crackers or things that you grew up as a child, saltine crackers or whatever. Go look at the ingredients. They are not the same ingredients as when you started eating those things.
No.
And there's a lot of shit on there you can't pronounce. And it doesn't say insect protein anymore. They have a bunch of different code words because people got onto that. But there's a lot of shit in there right now. They say there's over 1,000 items. You can go into Walmart and find over 1,000 items on the shelves right now that have bug protein or genetically modified.
Well, there's always been, because of the FDA, there's always been an
allotment, but they're actually using it as an ingredient.
They're now using it as an ingredient because they want to get you used to eating fucking crickets.
And it does not agree with people. It is causing problems.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they want to get you used to eating crickets, and so you'll be like, I eat crickets all the time. Guys, I know you're ignorant and you think you're going to save the planet by eating crickets. The people who are telling you to eat crickets will never be eating crickets. Never. Even when they do a commercial to say, even when the fucking Kardashians do a commercial to say cricket loaf is the best thing ever, it won't even be real cricket loaf that they're eating on that fucking video. The people who are telling you this are not getting rid of their jets. They're not reducing their power bills on their $1 million properties. They're not doing anything themselves to help the planet. They want you to eat cricket loaf so they can eat steak. That's all this is about.
Well, a lot of the steak was just burnt up recently.
Well, what was it, a barbecue?
No, fucking the fires in Texas, it burned down 90%, I guess, of the grass that's produced to feed those animals. There's pictures. What's the big dual rotor Marine Corps helicopter?
Oh, Osprey.
No, the helicopter.
Oh, the 46?
Fucking, there's pictures of 46s right now flying over cattle herds, throwing out round bales of fucking hay.
Interesting.
Yeah, fucking pretty badass. I don't know who's flying those or who fucking chartered those or whatever, but it's some pretty impressive video. How many rolls of hay fit in that thing?
I bet you could get.
I can only get 3 on my big ass trailer.
I bet you could get 4 in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a 46 will hold 2 M151s. So I bet maybe 4. Maybe tight.
It's pretty fucking cool footage though.
That is cool.
Fucking cows.
That is cool. I'd
But
love
yeah.
to feed cows with a 46.
Yeah, the fucking population. So are you aware of the Tyson shit going on right now? Meat plant stuff.
Oh, I know there's a little bit of shenanigans going on. I don't know that.
So Tyson
I don't follow it
closed.
'cause-
Tyson shut down a factory that produces 2% of the pork inside the United States. Fired all U.S. citizens, which is they're saying I don't know what the population is, right? But if we were supposed to have a Tyson plant here, population in this county 6,000. It would fuck the county up if they shut down and laid off 1,200 people.
Right.
So that's what they're saying. Now Tyson just did a job fair where they announced their intention is to hire 72,000 of these illegal migrants.
Mhm.
And they're able to hire them at $15 an hour instead of the $17, $20 an hour
Yes.
they were paying U.S. citizens because these people are here on asylum. And then Tyson is also promising that they will pay for the lawyers for these employees that they're hiring. So
Yeah.
they're shutting down all these. They're shutting 2 plants apparently. One's 1,800, one's 1,200 people.
That sounds about corporate. That's just how corporations run.
Correct.
And the only reason the only way that they're able to do that, is because the Biden administration was like, hey, this is what we need you to do. It's just like the DOJ going after Elon Musk because SpaceX doesn't hire enough illegal immigrants.
Well, speaking of illegal immigrants,
Doesn't
and
hire
hires,
enough illegal immigrants.
all these ESG hires. Boeing has had shit since the last time we spoke, right? Boeing had a door come off midair at 30,000 feet or something. There's multiple videos of them crash landing, nose down, landing gear collapsing on these planes. And I don't know if it's just one model or multiple models of Boeing planes. You saw the whistleblower came out and then he all of a sudden suicided himself.
Yes.
And the sister says, hey, I had a conversation with him yesterday and he said, I am absolutely not going to suicide myself. There's a video out as though it's Boeing doing a press conference and they're like, look, we're not going around and suiciding anybody. And you see off to the side there's a dude pointing a gun. And then he says something. He's like, "Oh no!" And then you see all these people pointing pistols at him
Yeah, well,
on the peripherals.
There's another satire thing where it was like Boeing's, Boeing's airframe problem has been fixed. They assured us because they've killed the whistleblower.
Uh-huh.
I gotta pee.
Okay. Disco.
Disco.
All right. What would you saying?
I don't know, something about the moon and cheese.
I don't think that's what you were saying.
Something about cheese and the moon.
Okay, the eclipse.
The eclipse. What about it? It's more distraction.
So do you know the last time it eclipsed, it did some thing, and this time it's supposed to do an X.
Yeah.
So you know about what's the town that got? It wasn't Babylon. It was in Nimia. Vidia.
Mm.
So
what are they saying? They're saying that the eclipse is going to happen and a town in Texas is going to explode.
well, my question is, whatever the town, Namibia or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's biblical, whatever. Why do we have so many fucking towns in the United States with the same fucking name as this place? And this eclipse is actually hitting all the patterns and hitting all of these towns through the United States.
Because we're not very original. That's why you can go to Chicago. People are just not original. We're not very original. That's why you can go to Chicago and drive down California Street.
See, the National Guard has called up a ton of people to be on site for this thing.
For what, the eclipse?
Yeah.
I have not
I
seen
don't remember
any
which
of that.
town it is. And they called up a bunch of like biological nuclear people to be active duty during this time and be present. And
I haven't seen any of that.
you have a lot of cities major cities that are calling up extra law enforcement and shit, and they're spinning it right now, saying that there's going to be this huge influx, this migration of people and vehicles, and our roadways are not set up for these many vehicles, and we're having all these people chasing the eclipse or going to these destinations to see the eclipse, and it's going to be this huge flood of people. So that's why we're doing it.
I mean, that makes sense.
Do you think so? Do you know anybody that's
I know
chasing
tons.
this fucking
Oh
eclipse?
man, I guarantee you that there is a spot in Texas.
God, I hope it's Night of the Comet.
There's a spot in Texas where it's supposed to be perfect. Like it's the spot where you're supposed to be. Fuck yeah! I bet 100,000 people were gonna descend on some town that's only got 3 police officers.
It's gonna look like Burning Man.
Yeah, it's gonna look like, and again, it's gonna look like Burning Man. Okay, it's gonna be a bunch of people with blue hair, people selling crystals, all kinds of crazy shit. Not to mention, let's not even think about the 90,000 people that are gonna be fucking double dosing on shrooms when this is happening. It's gonna be a goddamn zoo, of course. Yes. Now, I don't know why you would need a biochem team, but unless you're secretly planning on releasing some sort of agent on all the hippies that are going to be following this thing around, and then they're all going to go home.
Isn't that like The Stand?
Yeah, I would say for the place, because I saw a map rendition of where this is supposed to be like perfect, where they're like saying go to this to see this thing where it's perfect, and it's all small towns. So if 100,000, for example, we'll just use Camden. If 100,000 people descended on Camden tomorrow, it would be a fucking problem. Like it would be a problem where people were going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Right? So I would say that if the state of Texas or whoever's ramping this up, if they didn't go, hey, Eclipse, a lot of people are going to show up because they want to see the damn thing. If they didn't increase law enforcement presence, that they would be at fault at whatever happened, right? If I don't know, somebody goes Bananarama on shrooms and starts hacking people with machetes.
I don't think shrooms do that.
I know. I'm just saying. Whatever.
Crocodile.
If the police aren't present and something major does happen, then you're at fault. Because you knew that there was a potential for something crazy to go on because all these people are coming from all over the country. And if you don't ramp it up,
so you don't think
you're at fault.
You don't think we're getting zombies from this?
No, it's a distraction. All this, you know how many goddamn solar eclipses this planet has had? No, it's not going to be a blood moon and vampires are going to come out and start eating everybody. And no, it's a distraction. It's to get people to go, oh my god, there's a fucking solar eclipse.
What are they not
Versus-
what are they doing that they're distracting us from?
The same thing that they do all the time. They're fucking stealing all your money. They're fucking toppling governments all over the world.
So just bread and circuses.
Yeah, it's just bread circus. This is the bread. Everybody's going to go look at the bread instead of look at Nancy Pelosi fleecing the goddamn country. So it's bullshit.
Shouldn't she expire soon? She has to, like, how long?
She, at the beginning of the year, she's like, I'm not going to run for office again. But she just came out and said, I'm good to go. I'm running for office again. So I think they put AOC in a Pelosi mask, and she's going to run again. I think because she actually Pelosi, for whatever reason, and again, I don't really pay attention to these people because I know they're all fake and stealing everything from us. But the last couple of months, she's looked good. Not what I'm saying is she's looked like she's not drunk, and she's been doing her makeup, and she's looked like.
So clearly it's not her.
She's looked like she's got her shit together. Maybe she went to AA. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. So do you think people should maybe prep a little extra just in case?
Always. Why not? What's the? There is no harm in being prepared for some sort of calamity. And I'm not talking about zombies or fucking the government collapse. I'm just talking about
Normal shit.
normal shit.
Most of your emergencies will only affect you.
Yes.
Like, for real, most of your emergencies will only affect you and your family. You might live in an area where there's a natural disaster that affects you and several of your neighbors, or you might have a larger disaster type situation where it affects you and your town. Tornado wipes the town out. Those are you problems, right? And people typically step up. But if you have multiple disasters, then you have real problems. Nobody's coming to help you.
Well, nobody's ever coming to help you.
No, they're never there to help you. They're there to assess how much they have to pay for your fucking property, or to eminent domain you and then steal your property. There's
So
a lot
they're
of
not
that.
coming to help you.
What have you been on any? Do you know I do a live every night at 9 o'clock on YouTube?
Yes, yeah.
Every single night, every day of the year, and we have a lot of people showing up. We've had as high in the last 2 weeks. We've had as high as 180,000 people.
Nice
Impressions. Like that means they've logged on. We see as high as 1,500 people at any given time, as low as a couple hundred. But there's a lot of people like, hey, I don't know why I keep seeing you, but I keep seeing you. And they're doing this thing called vertical integration. And I tell them, I go, what you don't realize is you're interacting with content we put out. And most of it's you. Like, Austin chops those shorts up to make you look like an asshole or me look like an asshole.
That's
But
all right.
like I got a message. I don't ever log into the SOE side of Facebook.
Yeah.
Because they've broken them apart, right? So I have to jump through hoops to see the private messages coming to the business side of Facebook.
Yeah.
And the dude's like, I don't know who your friend is, but if you could tell him, I read this right before you got here. If you could tell him about the Navy, about the SEALs holding street corners, he might not be aware of CBs or riverine patrol guys. And I'm like, hey, we're both very aware of them. Sometimes they're even sitting in the room when we podcast. We know a lot of those dudes. I go, this is a Ford Chevy thing. What you don't realize is this is Ford and Chevy, and it's just poking and prodding. And we say it, and we build these video clips in a manner that people take issue with them, because it amplifies our other things and puts our real videos out where more people see them. I go, what you don't realize is nobody who's a SEAL or a CB or a SWIT guy ever comments taking issue with these things. It's always people who are not these things. I go, this is by design.
Lance Corporals hold street corners, not Navy SEAls.
Correct, because Navy SEAls have
Other things to
killing
do.
to do.
They have other things to do.
Yeah, if you want to destroy a town, you send Navy SEAls. They'll kill everyone.
Not a town. I mean, maybe like
They'll kill everyone. And if you
Like
want to build roads
like a
and
movie theater,
set up churches, you send
small
special forces
bar.
guys.
small bar, but not a town.
Small bar. They're going to wreck the bar.
Yeah, they're going to wreck the bar. Send Navy SEAls. Yeah, I mean, again, it's like you said. I just got blown up on the Hogs Den, which is just.
You did?
Yeah, just a bunch
Which
of
is
snipers.
a sniper form. What happened?
Just a sniper form.
What are they mad about?
Somebody
Found your video?
Some sniper found my video that, probably East Coast sniper. No offense, East Coast. But found my video and was like,
Probably never even shot at a
it's
human
like,
being.
who's this motherfucker? And why is he putting out all this fake
Did
content?
they fucking jump on his ass?
Man, he got a little blown up. I mean, he got a little blown up. I don't care, but I don't care if you've never heard me talk about the shit or you don't know why. The interesting thing is when people get all booty busted. Why do you care?
Right.
Like, really, why are you invested in whatever I have to say? Either what I'm saying resonates with you, or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, why do you care?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you watching the videos and then down there in the DMs going, man, Glock's the best pistol in the world. I don't know why.
Every night. What pistol should I buy? I go, look, whatever gun, or is the CZ a good gun? Well, obviously it is. I mean, you bought one, right? You already have an emotional attachment. Should I buy a Glock or should I buy a 1911? I'm like, why don't you buy all of them? Why don't you go get every night? Somebody last night was like, should I get a 1911 and 10 millimeter? Abso-fucking-lutely. You should get every one there is. Really, I think you're probably a 38 Super guy, chrome plated, a little bit of gold, like probably some Cobra boots. Like I'd get the Cobra boots
first.
Yeah, I want the Cobra boots as high. I want that Cobra standing up as high as your belt buckle. Like I want you guys to have fucking anything you want to have. Ask me that. How do I get anything I want to have? Let's have that conversation. I don't care what gun you buy. Well, I don't know. What gun should I buy? You know what gun you should buy? Buy a Glock.
That's the same, but that's the same issue I have. Is because of those videos and the way Evan cuts it.
Austin
cuts it. Yeah, sorry, Evan and Austin. The way he cuts the video, people make assumptions, right? Yeah. It's like I have to be like, bro, I own more Glocks than you, so just be quiet, okay?
Well, I'm like, hey.
And that's
we have 5,000. There's a video of you with a bucket of Glocks.
I know, but that's the other thing too. Is like I'll be like, people will automatically be like, oh, he carries a 1911, and I'm like, Well, I have carried a 1911, and I would carry a 1911 in the future. But what's the assumption? I've done videos with the Sig 226, the Sig 228, uh, Glock.
I like to go, which pistol did you shoot a man with? Well, then shut the fuck up.
Yeah, because then none of them have.
Right.
Most of them don't even have
Shut the
guns.
fuck up.
So-
What plates? Dudes are like guys are like we had this influx for a couple of weeks of dudes like, hey, what do you think about homemade body armor? I'm like, I don't know. What do you think about homemade heart surgery? Like, do whatever you want to do. Like, more power to you, man. If the A team shows up at your house and you're going to take on the fucking next town and you got to make some homemade body armor, awesome. But that shouldn't be your plan, right? They're like, and then somebody's like, hey, do you think I should own body armor? I'm like, when's the last time you were shot at?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't. Well, do you have $10,000 in your bank account? Like, if your car catches on fire in your driveway and your insurance doesn't pay for it, can you get another car this weekend? Like, are you in that? Do you have 3 months worth of your bills where you could pay them if you broke your leg?
Mm-hmm.
If the answer is no, you should make more money. Like, amass some money,
Yeah,
not buy some shit.
You don't need body armor.
But at the same time, when people are like, hey, I'm new to prepping, what should I do? And I say, you should think in threes, right? I want you to think 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, right? Because if you're upside down in a vehicle, you need to breathe before 3 minutes, right? Seatbelt cutter. If your arm is cut off, you need a tourniquet because you're going to bleed out in less than 3 minutes. So tourniquet, things like that. You can buy those things for
Nothing.
$10,
Right.
$15, $20, right? And then as far as 3 hours, you could die from exposure in 3 hours. So let's have some means to heat yourself, keep yourself warm during shock, things like that. And then 3 days. Everybody's been without power for, well, I guess they haven't nowadays. There's probably people who have not been out without power for 3 days, but maybe a few hours, right? So let's put some water in buckets. For the most part, when water runs, it's free. Take your trash buckets. Everybody has a cat, has fucking kitty litter boxes. Fill them with water. You don't have to drink the shit. You could filter it if you had to, but it'll still flush your toilets. Water, for the most part, is free. And I said, when we were having the conversation last night, I go, all these guys giving you all these things. Oh, you should have this, you should have that. I go, I'll bet you half of them don't have any of the things they're telling you should have.
But even if they do, even if they do, it's the thing that sits in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, guys, I'm not bagging on you if you have the thing that sits in the corner.
No,
I have a fucking garage full of things that sits in the
I
corner.
have buildings full of things
That sits in the corner because well, first off, I love I love military shit, so I have it.
Do you drink
Right?
at night?
Sometimes.
Do you buy things when you drink?
No, I don't buy things when I drink.
You don't like, hey, what's this $900 that went to Amazon?
No, I don't. I definitely don't.
So I don't ever do it by accident, but I do tend to buy things at night. Well, I mean, Brandel can tell you because I'm constantly sending him links to things. I'm like, Brandel, you should buy this $2 million building.
Yeah, you do that to me too.
Well, that's because I want you to be like, hey, we should do this tomorrow.
I can't afford it.
Just inspire, just encourage me, co-sign my bullshit.
Okay, I'll co-sign it. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's get roller skates and go to that building.
I can't roller skate.
That's the point.
No, I'll hurt myself.
That's the point.
The day I got this cast off, they took this one off and they put this one on.
We'll pad you up.
That was roller skates.
We'll pad you up. We'll get what's his name? Trains the dogs.
Joel Riles?
No.
Dakota.
Well, he's got a jumpsuit. We'll put you in the jumpsuit, roller skates, get you out there. The content on that alone would be hilarious.
How many square feet is this? 150,000? 150,000 under roof.
Yeah.
We could do SOE Town.
No, I think what we need to do is put it out there on the internet that we're all going to meet there on a Wednesday night. Bring your roller skates, and we're going to fucking have a roller skate disco party up in this building.
Do you know?
A flash mob, roller skate flash mob. Let's do it.
Okay, so this is 150,000 square feet under.
You want to do it?
roof
You want to do it before you own it, in case somebody gets hurt.
on 6 acres of property. There's a building. It's not as many square feet, but it's a lot of buildings and a lot of square feet here in Camden. It's 40 acres. We could start it. We can mine it.
What are we gonna mine?
Gravel and rock.
Okay. You know anything about gravel rock mining?
No, but this is what they do here.
Okay.
There's all kinds of cool. We could just go take their equipment. They wouldn't even know we have it.
Okay. Well, you really need the operator. So what we need to do is convince the operators that it's actually part of the company's. It's a subsidiary of the company, and have the operators come and do it for us.
No, all you gotta do is pay them $2 an hour more.
But then the rock's going to be more expensive.
You want to have good employees. You just steal them. You steal the capable employees and pay them more.
There's capable employees in Camden, Tennessee that we can steal.
Apparently there is. I mean, that's the only thing we export is rock and gravel, dirt.
Sand.
But there's a railway running into this property.
Oh, you got to get it though.
Both of them.
You got to get it.
It has it has a spur line. It has natural gas. It has city water, city power if we want it. But it has a railway.
You got to get it. You got to get it. You got to get boxcars
You know what they used to do?
and a
here?
locomotive.
You know what they used to do?
What?
It was a timber mill, and they made, what did they make? They made all the hammers for Craftsman hammers when they were doing wood hammers. This mill place started in 1870. 1870.
It's here in Camden.
No,
Oh,
the one that's not in Camden. The one in Camden has some huge steel buildings, and it has its own oil change pit.
well, it's worth it right there.
So we could get Jason to go over there.
Yeah, just
We'll
do
start
oil change.
changes.
Oil changes. That'd be perfect. I like it.
So back to the prepper stuff. Like I was saying, there's plenty of dudes who have bought generators, but nobody ever tests any of this shit. They don't do anything. Like you said, put it in the corner, right? Imagine my surprise. This happened a few times. I bought a generator from Costco. It's a little clone Honda, right?
Mm-hmm. Didn't have any oil.
Not a fuck no oil.
No.
When I opened it to use it, luckily it wasn't an emergency. No oil in it. Not only was there no oil in the generator, there was not a bottle of oil in the
box.
fucking
Yeah,
thing.
you had to go
Same
get
thing when we bought the auger. We get the auger. We buy the auger, bring it all the way here, hook it up to the tractor. There's no fucking oil in it, and nobody at the place where we bought it said, "Hey, motherfucker, there's no oil.
in it.
You probably
You
need
put
to
oil
buy
in
a
it,
gallon of this oil." Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
kind of shit, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I think everybody should have a little bit of prep in their life.
Are you opening a training school?
No,
I heard that you might be.
nope, not a chance.
I think there's a chance.
No chance. Well, what are we training?
We'll just host people.
I could train. Let's see. What do we train?
I heard.
You know what? We're gonna have a kick-ass. Guaranteed, we're gonna have a kick-ass hula hoop class. Like if you really want to learn how to hula hoop,
Dude, you should do
Come on up. We're
you
gonna
should
do
do
hula
a
hoop.
you should do a gun class where you have to hula hoop while shooting.
I mean, we could do that.
Can you hula hoop?
Yeah, of course I can hula
No,
hoop.
you can't.
Bullshit! I can do the tricks and everything.
No, you can't.
Down the hip, up the leg, round the arm.
You
I
know,
can
we
do
know
all
s-
those tricks.
We know some people that do that.
Yeah, I know we do.
Do you know anybody that breathes fire?
I do know somebody who breathes fire.
Can she swallow a sword?
I don't know.
Can she?
I know she does sword
Can
stuff.
she walk around on big balls?
I know she
Balls
does sword
means
stuff.
fire stuff?
I don't know about walking around on big balls. I mean, she has big balls, so I don't know about walking around on big balls.
Can we get midgets in fire?
Wait, midgets on fire or midgets that do fire?
Both. I mean, I just want some people with fire. I probably want somebody on stilts. I would like to have some midgets. Hey, don't you know some midgets? Aren't you related to a midget or something?
You're related to a midget, so you got
No.
the gene?
No.
Is it
To
dwarfism that
this
you got?
day, you still have the midget gene.
What for? What purpose are we going to have a circus?
I just want to have a cool party.
You haven't had a party in years.
It's time.
Like a real party, or
Like a
let's have
real
everybody
SUV party.
dehydrate some cheese party.
No,
No, real party.
Like fire that you see 2 miles away, and
Really?
100 arrows on fire launched in the air at the
So
same
who would you
time.
invite?
We don't invite anybody. We just say everybody can come. Anybody can come.
I wonder if they would. I wonder if they would.
Do you know
What?
we did a 4th of July party?
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
And something was happening, so that the 4th of July didn't fall on the weekend. So we were doing it the next week, some reason. Do you know dudes flew here from Ireland
For the party, yeah.
and New Zealand to come to the party? And I'm like, they're like, we're
Could
here
we
for the
get-
party. I'm like, bro, it's next week.
Could we get a flamethrower?
You're the flamethrower guy, aren't you?
No, I'm not the flamethrower guy. I don't know where that guy came from. I really want to do the flamethrower again.
You want to buy it?
No, I can't afford a flamethrower.
Is there any regulations with them?
No, none.
I can get you. I'll buy you some of those.
I mean,
flamethrowers.
Well, I was thinking about getting I think it's the X12.
Not the Elon Musk one.
No. It's there's
actually
a backpack.
backpack version.
There's actually a
What if
backpack
you just
version.
put?
I thought
what
about
if
getting the
you just
X12, but it
took,
just doesn't look as cool. I really want a real flamethrower. The X12 doesn't.
Have you seen my weed sprayer that's
You know,
electric?
Yeah,
Can you just put diesel in that?
maybe. What would be really cool?
We could put a lighter up here,
Yeah.
off of a copper rod. I don't know why copper, but we put a lighter here,
Conducts electricity better.
and we put what is it? Ivory soap flakes in diesel, in the spray rod.
No, we go downtown Camden, and we have the crew.
There is no downtown thing.
We have the crew walk around and pick up styrofoam cups,
What you said.
and then we put the styrofoam in there.
Does it work?
Mix
Would
it.
it
Oh,
not?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Would it mess up your sprayer?
No.
Could I spray weeds with it afterwards?
I'm sure you could.
Is
They'd be
this-
covered in styrofoam cup.
Is this safe?
Yeah, 100%.
As safe as the fucking real flamethrower you had, probably. Look, you might die today.
The crazy part is when he was loading that flamethrower up. When he was.
Were you the first one to shoot it,
No, it was
Chris?
Green Force.
Green Chris.
Yeah. The crazy part when he was loading that motherfucker up, I'm like,
Do you shoot a flamethrower? What do you call it? Is it shooting? It's not shooting.
I would assume it is shooting,
Okay.
because it has a trigger.
Okay.
But when he was loading it up, I'm like, because the reality is,
What went in it?
it was diesel fuel.
Just straight diesel.
I think he just did straight diesel.
What do we use when we're burning motherfuckers up in pillboxes and shit?
Well, that's actually napalm. And so you have a mixture of diesel, a teeny splash of gasoline for color, and then styrene. They mix styrene in it. The styrene
so
is
that's
what
napalm actually was.
Yeah. So when you see it in any, when the flame goes across this wall, and the flame is still on the wall, it's stuck to the wall. That's because of the styrene. That's what keeps it stuck there. So you can't get it off you.
Wasn't that the recipe in Anarchist Cookbook?
It could have been. I don't know.
I thought they tweaked those all over.
They did. They tweaked them. Don't think that you can just fire up the Anarchist Cookbook and make what you want. They tweaked them all a little bit so that whatever you were doing became instantly more dangerous.
Was that the government you think that did that?
Yeah, it was the CIA.
CIA.
Yeah,
Because
all that
put out the Anarchist Cookbook.
because if you think about it, like if you just use your G2, all that stuff came out in the 60s.
What's G2?
Your intelligence.
Got it.
Um,
I thought that's S2.
well, that's the lower intelligence. All that stuff came out in the 70s. Okay, and what was going on in the 70s? All kinds of shenanigans. Worse shenanigans that are going on than now. You really had hundreds of thousands of fucking students who were marching on Washington. You had all kinds of anarchists out there. And so they released this stuff, the government released this stuff with some stuff missing or some information not right, so that when you were in your kitchen making your fucking napalm drip and you didn't turn the fan on, or you did turn the fan on, or it just became instantly more dangerous for you. So that a lot of those people learned the hard way that, you can't mix this with that, whatever. Now, I do know that when I wonder if I can even say this. I don't care. I probably can say it. I do know that when the war on terror kicked off, that was one of the first things that the farm did. So the first one of the things that the CIA did was they actually gobbled all those books back up and ran all those recipes to see what. Again, that's how inefficient your government is. They put shit out in order to hurt people, and then they bring it back in and they're like, we forgot how we were fucking these people up. Let's run these. Let's run these recipes and see what works and doesn't work. Because again, a lot of the real cooks, a lot of the real bombers in the Middle East were using these books in order to come up with the devices that they were putting out. So that's why they started seeing what works and what doesn't work.
Speaking of bombers in the Middle East, did you see the guy they caught coming across the Mexican border from Beirut?
Mm.
They grabbed him up. He was apparently HVT. They had some interest in him, interrogated him.
And then let him go.
They said, "Why are you here?" He said, "Well, I'm coming here to go to New York. I'm going to make I think he said New York. I'm going to make a bomb." He says Hezbollah or whatever.
Right.
And I don't know whether they let him go or not. But this is all over every
Come here,
channel's talking.
come here to make a bomb.
Yeah, I don't want to make a bomb, but that's what I'm supposed to do. I've been sent here to make a bomb.
Oh, that's what he said?
Something to that effect.
Okay, well, yeah, he is right now there's no way they let him go. He's in Langley, and they're like, who wants you to make the bomb? Where were you going to make the bomb? I mean, they are definitely downloading everything that guy is, I'm sure you're going to see, or you probably won't see, Cell arrested in New York City, or because it's never just one, right? It's never one guy.
Those guys always have the same religion too.
Usually, it's because it's a pack mentality. You gotta stay with your pack. It's just
Okay, that's all I got.
That's it. That's all you got.
it.
No more.
Let's go eat lunch.
All right, let's go eat
All right,
lunch.
you ready?
Ready.
Pulling the Thread Podcast,
Episode
episode 667.
I built this thing from the bottom, they tore it down, I rebuilt it. I give myself a task, you can bet your ass I fulfill it. Yeah, man, I'm talking about realest, one of the realest.